Thank you very much. Welcome back, everyone, to House General and Housing. It's Thursday, March 13th at 4:15. We're going to be in committee just very briefly. I went and talked to Robin Shy, who is the chair of House Appropriations. She was the only one in the room, actually, when I was there. The individual who is the individual assigned to this issue is Jim Harrison. Jim, I think it was Jim, talked to Beth Fastigi, who is the commissioner of HR, and Rebecca White, who I'm not sure who that is.
Senator.
Was it Senator White?
Yeah.
Yes.
Becca Weiss is senator.
Okay, why that? I'm not sure. Okay. They had two concerns. They were concerned with duplication and they were concerned with the expansion. The duplication, I'm just literally repeating what I heard. The duplication is, she said that all state employees are covered by a provision that allows them to purchase very cheaply health insurance. It was, she said, life insurance. She said it was previously opt-in, but the social worker who was killed didn't have health insurance. So the legislature changed it to opt-out.
Life insurance.
Life insurance, right? What?
You said health insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah, life insurance. And it provides for 2 times salary on death. The workers' comp, if the spouse is less than 62, the spouse gets 2/3 of their salary until 62, until they turn 62 when they're eligible for Social Security. The kids get something, I don't know what, until age 18.
This is for state workers,
Yes, for state workers, which would include
1/3 of the police.
police, correct, and I don't know. I'm just telling you what I heard.
Right. Just
Corrections,
clarifying.
corrections, et cetera. So one concern is duplication. And the other is just a general concern over expansion. She said, where do we stop? Where do we draw the line? What about social workers, judges, others who are in danger elsewhere? And I got the impression, and I will just say it's an impression from listening to her, that it's not just Jim. That the committee, these were concerns in the committee that were serious concerns. Rather than simply let it stop, they opted to push it back to us, to take more testimony at 4. And then that's what the speakers arranged, that it stays with them and we can provide. I'm not sure, I guess you found out exactly how we provide them the whatever we want. So anyway, you asked the question, what they want, that's my best answer.
Thank you.
But the other question being, why don't they do it? That was my question.
I think they were trying to be accommodating to us. Yeah, I mean, I think they felt like that we're the ones who are the primary committee, and so we should take more evidence on those issues. Which,
No, they didn't want to make the decision. That's
well, I think they feel like I think Robin's feeling like they'll make the decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got this distinct impression that absent some sort of modification, although I did not get into it with her, I really didn't, she wouldn't vote for it. So partly it's that remember what they're all about right now. Like, yeah. So, I mean, I know from my own experience with appropriations is when you get into the last weeks, you really get this sort of, I don't want to spend any money at all for anything mode. And in fact, she asked me what the vote was on the housing bill, and I told her it was 10-1, and that the one vote was concerned about the amount going to the HCB, and she said, we'll be lucky if we can give anything to HCB. So anyway, there you go. So I'm not sure what to do, but that's the input.
So we have ledge council coming tomorrow. I think we should probably sleep on it. Kind of have some sort of idea of what needs to be done or what to think about over the night.
Is there any language that we can come up with that isolates correction officers with police officers and firefighters?
Yeah, and
it was your son, Mr. Howard said.
Dave, yeah.
There was a phrase he used and it was just making a note. I have to watch the video, try to recapture that.
Because if that's one of the main issues and we can find a way,
Wait, are you done? Were
I'm done.
you weren't finished with your question? Okay, so
In
so,
other words, some way of treating them differently, yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Well, I mean, this is about honoring their service. I mean, everybody's, anybody can have workman's comp. I just don't feel like you have to say, well, they get workman's comp over here. We are recognizing their service.
But there's plenty of professions that are providing a service.
Well,
That might
we're
be-
recognizing these.
So is there
Well,
a
you
way
have to
we
start
can
somewhere.
contain it? Yeah, contain it right now so that it's those three
Well, it's the
Professions.
EMTs also. We talk about emergency personnel, firefighters,
they're-
volunteer, and paid.
He said, just to clarify, Tom. Steve said, you said how do you open that door without opening that door? And he said that you have to think of it as a public safety infrastructure standpoint, that it's really all of the public safety people.
I guess I'm taking, so the notion that Gail brought up and the notion of, this is an honor for service and the notion of we're under intense financial pressures. And it's just, I know this is not what is being asked for by the lobbyists who represent the groups involved, but would there be a consideration for some kind of tiered distinction of when somebody does have a benefit versus when somebody does not? And if it's an honor recognition, then why did we up the amount so much, right? Like we're trying, this is.
Because of inflation.
I mean, the cost of fuel.
My point is that realistically, we're expanding how many people will benefit, both in the beneficiary categories and in the occupations that are covered, at a time when we're definitely fighting for dollars. And so I'm just trying to throw out there some other options that might seem more palatable and still meet those interests of recognition, of accommodation, and of meeting people's needs.
Couldn't we, didn't you have you had an easy way of fixing that duplication, did you not? Just adding in a phrase that says something like, at the discretion of the panel, the ad hoc panel, that the panel decides whether it's a duplicative effort or not.
That was for identifying the beneficiary, like who really deserves it.
Couldn't we do that for the
We talked
benefit too?
about delegating to the panel, I'm just saying the amount. The maximum amount is $80,000 and the actual amount, they should take into account benefits received.
Other
or something
benefits
like
received.
But part of this panel, this board, I mean, as I said to her, if it was up to me, in an ideal world, I would just say we want to see death benefits to entities, professions where there is a substantial likelihood of a mortal outcome of their service. And it's up to the board to decide what those are and what the amount is. We up to 80,000, something like that. But this board is not set up. Its membership isn't set up and it's not inclined to get into decision-making like that. So
Well, I think we demarcate it well enough. If I were going to be on that board, I would think if I were handed a list of requirements that included, don't don't make the state pay out more than $80,000 in total benefits. I think that would be pretty. It's not like a board made up of the,
Robots.
or I was gonna say siblings of the
Right.
bereaved siblings of the deceased. I mean, that would be one thing, but if it was just everyday citizens with a list of, demarcated requirements, I think it would be not too much to ask.
That could take care of the duplication problem to some extent. The issue of the expansion is, still out there. That's I'm kind of,
But I feel like if we're compromising, we're showing.
Two things. And I think, so heard, and I'm down for if we're gonna put language, I appreciate putting in those things and provisions that were just discussed, that feels like something tangible and makes sense. And I also just want to say that the other thing that happens here, like there's one pending case right now. We're not talking about a whole bunch of cases that are happening on a consistent basis. And like, this is gonna be an influx, and now people are gonna be dying at higher rates. And we're gonna have this mad dash for people applying for benefits and things like this. So I feel like in the, well, which can happen, but so,
We don't know.
No, but,
We're adding,
right.
doubling the number of.
Right, but wait till you hear what I'm about to say. I'm about to go
Sorry.
totally rogue and blow it up, and everybody's gonna be real mad. But no, not about this, not about this. But I'm gonna say, but what is the alternative, right? The alternative is we take it out. What message are we sending to, like, and when I say we, I mean our committee. Our committee. I'm not saying don't take it out. I'm saying for the sake of this, what message are we sending to those employees who are in those dire straits right now? Who, guess what? If we pass this out of our committee and it dies in appropriation, or they change it or they take it out, it's gonna still be what it is. However, the message that they will receive from our committee is that we support and believe in your service. Let appropriations take it out. But, and also, or we could take it out, but I'm just saying, what is the message? And then you just heard, like, we were just, what, like, then what? They're suffering, corrections officers are suffering. And I'm not saying to keep them in or take them out. That I'm not going to. I'm just saying, what message do we want to send is what I'm saying, because at the end of the day, if they strike and we have riots in our prisons, how much is that going to cost? How many lives are going to be lost? And what is that going to look like? So what we're saying is we're sending a message. We're putting our message in our legislation. We support your service. We're saying it's not, because we're not even supporting everyone. This is like, what, 3 benefits payouts I think we just upgraded to? That was part of the expansion was.
And we have a year and a half for them to come up with money to pay it out,
Yeah.
so.
Well, nobody's died in corrections that was testified today.
Right, so
They
More about the
haven't had
message.
any correction officer die.
I don't know, I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
One did commit suicide,
But- Well, yes, and so I'm not saying yes or no, I'm just putting that out there as a seed. What message do we want to send from our committee? Because we can't decide what appropriations is gonna do, because, and here's the thing. Did appropriations say that if we do this, they will 100% take it up? Exactly. That's
no, I didn't ask. I do want to ask a question. The current law provides it applies to police officers,
No.
No.
Currently,
That's the
it's
thing.
firefighters and
Firefighters.
EMTs.
Yeah,
firefighters,
And EMTs.
and are either of those people state employees? No.
Firefighters are,
No, I don't.
No,
We
they're
have
not.
volunteer firefighters.
No.
Okay, so part of our problem is I'm just without opining on its wisdom, by adding categories that are state employees, we may be either exacerbating or creating this duplication problem, right? It's the state employees because they have these benefits. Okay, I just want to understand. Okay. And the benefits are substantial. They probably would mean, I mean, if we put an $80,000 ceiling on it, they wouldn't get anything. So, I mean, in other words, two times salary on death, it's gonna be for most people more than $80,000. Okay, well, it's 4:30. I think people should sleep on this. I would like to go one way or the other, whatever we do by noon, because we have one more bill that's very important.
Not meeting till what?
9:30, we're not meeting till 1.
Before, right?
Yeah, 9:30, 10:30, 11.
Thing.
Do we really have to wait till 1?
It surprises me that we've had so few bills make crossover.
Well, and we have one more that we've
Slacker
heard.
side.
Yeah,
You can,
Let me check, Sophie's good.
I mean, I think if we're gonna talk about this bill, we don't necessarily need Sophie right away, so we can make a decision
We can
at
talk more,
11,
Yeah,
then have her come in if we need to make a change.
let's see. what
Talk
is-
about recommended change at 1. That would take, if we're all in agreement, take 10 minutes, and then we can move on to 461.
okay, when do you want?
Does 11?
Well, immediately after the floor.
Yeah, yeah, just after the floor, 10 minutes after that.
Okay.
Okay. Think about it. We need to reach a decision.
And so the draft, so our options are, okay, before we walk away. So I can know what my choices are.
Let me read you. Hold your horses. Okay. We could do nothing until
Okay.
appropriations, right? We took the testimony that you want. This is what we found. We can send that in a committee correspondence to appropriations, I guess.
Okay,
If we want to make a change,
okay,
we can either simply no longer have possession of the bill. Once House appropriation votes out the bill, individual general and housing members can offer an amendment. That's only if.
it votes out.
Another option is House General and Housing could recommend language to appropriations, and if appropriations agrees with it, appropriations can include the language in appropriations amendment, i.e. appropriation votes out the bill with a favorable with amendment committee report that includes the recommended language.
And so what we're looking at is the third option currently, because I think number 2 doesn't really count, because that would be them voting it out as it is. So I would say, so our options are to vote out of here, leave it out, or to say we're gonna send language. Okay, so around our language suggestions, framing my brain.
Yep.
Okay, that's going to be suggestions on duplication and the expansion of both definitions and the parties, or,
I don't believe definitions.
okay,
is
so
the
that's
problem.
off the table, okay.
Definitions
So
is the
just-
problem with
just-
the
Okay,
treasurer,
so
but
the,
that can be taken care of.
okay, so it would be the duplication, which we heard, so we'll have to like get clarification on that language, which we heard testimony on today, okay? And then duplication, and then the other one is the expansion, which includes corrections and law enforcement.
So yes, their problem is not law enforcement,
Okay,
it's corrections.
okay, so we
Why is
would,
it not law enforcement?
so,
Because some are municipal, I guess,
Well, it's just the
and
state
don't have as many
police.
benefits.
okay.
Or is it town police too?
It's all law enforcement
Oh, law
officers
enforcement.
in the bill. And the 1/3 there, that's 3, that's state police, sheriffs,
Oh,
departments and local
Okay.
law enforcement. And state police have the benefit that they would be talking about, so it's the sheriff's department and local law enforcement that don't
That may or may not.
otherwise have
benefit.
benefit.
I would suggest if you know any correctional officers, contact them tonight and ask them, all the members of the Appropriations Committee.
Do you?
Like I do.
Mary can give you contacts.
I've got contacts too.
All right.
Thank you.
They need to hear from
All
her.
right, I think that we're past the hour. Thank you, everyone, for your long day. And we will reconvene right after the floor tomorrow.
Okay, right after the floor.
Got it.
The floor is at 9:30 and we'll go until it goes. And then
Race
we'll
over.
probably be here or sometime around 11. Let's see. Okay?
Okay.
All right.